Are you ever driving down the road, the freeway, and the long and lonely highways between two major cities, and you see a house being driven down the road? Or you're in the farmlands and you see a harvester taking up the road. It's extra wide. Nothing can get around it. It's occupying multiple lanes simultaneously. That is an option for wireless too. We can actually drive a big fat truck down our roads, our wireless roads, by doing something called channel aggregation. Now, back in 802.11a and 802.11g, which remember both have a maximum throughput of 54 megabits per second, that was not available. All right, they would occupy a 20 megahertz channel. So here's 36, here's 40, here's 44, here's 48. Remember that's how these were described at the 5 gigahertz range. So great, we could just pick one. But starting with 802.11n, we had the concept of aggregation. 802.11n said, ooh, let's take 36 and 40, bind them together, and treat them as if it was just one big channel. And that's exactly how it occupies it. It doesn't have to do this, but it can. And when it does, that allows it to move more data. You get a greater degree of bandwidth as long as the access point and the client both understand this common idea of having a 40 megahertz channel. And you actually get more than the sum of your parts. 54 plus 54 would be 108, but we actually get 119. Why? Oh, this nether space here in the middle, the null power aspect of our wireless divisions, right? These subchannels that aren't being used can now be reallocated as usable subchannels for data. Great, more ones and zeros are able to be sent out simultaneously using the OFDM, right? Multiplexing across all those channels, those subcarriers. And that is, here with N, we have 40 megahertz channels, but it doesn't stop there. If we move to 802.11ac, we can have 20, 40, 80, 160. So we could, again, bundle together 2, we could bundle together 4, we could bundle together 8 20 megahertz channels into one large block. Now, you got to be careful. There's not a whole lot of places where you can grab 8 channels. I mean, here's one where we could actually occupy a big chunk of the Uni 1 and Uni 2 standards, all right? And we could do that. Not a whole lot of other places that are available to go that wide. And remember, that means if I'm going 160 wide, well, then anything else occupying any one of these ranges, you got something that's 802.11g occupying 44, or you got something with N over here at 60 and 64, your AC, this big fat pipeline 160 megahertz wide, is conflicting with those other values. So you got to be careful there. And your access points aren't just going to make anything available. You're going to be pretty limited because you won't be able to cross over into the unavailable portions of the the 5 gigahertz range. Again, currently, it is not all one large continuum. They're working on making that available, but until that has become a standard by the FCC or the European telecommunications standard, then it's not going to be available. And there will be special requirements if we try and manage that in radar-affected areas. Again, Doppler radar becomes an issue and changes some of the rules. So got to be careful about doing that. In general, you would avoid those. And like I said, your access point's simply not going to make them available. This is why you have so few channels you can occupy. And it seems like even fewer than normal. Like, remember, there's no way that you could bind, for example, 60, 64, 100, and 104 and aggregate that into a nice 80 megahertz wide channel because there's all this space in between. It just won't let you do that. So those are the rules, essentially, for channel aggregation, being able to have that nice wide road that can then carry more traffic.